see. Okay. Right. So we're talking about the play-by-play action as is. If you can understand God's prophecy, you don't have to be shaken and fearful or lack wisdom or understanding, because the information is right here in front of our faces. It's right here. You don't have to be confused or confounded by anything. You don't have to have a false hope about what to expect, because again, these things have to play out. As they play out, these are the predictors, or the ways to gauge. These are the ways to gauge what is coming. What is coming down the road, future tense. And what has already taken place, past tense. We're seeing these things. Right? So it says what? Except a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Right? And 4 said, who opposeth and exalt himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. The man of perdition, the man of sin, has made himself God. The people who have stolen the identity of Black, Latino, Native American people are the ones sitting on this so-called throne that they've created for themselves. And they are treating the world as their throne. And they're what? Gaining control by what? Using all manner of wickedness. All manner of wickedness is how they are gaining control of the earth. You think about all the stuff that Trump is doing since he stepped into office. He has turned this country upside down. It's getting so bad that they are banning free speech. Free speech is a part of the Constitution. How do you now tell people that if you say certain words that is unconstitutional and that you should now be arrested? That is a people who have to cheat their way to the top, because the only way that they can win is by what? Changing the rules to fit their narrative. Even though the country says what? You have the right to free speech. The same people whose economy we are supporting, who have gained what? Gained control of the United States. I have been saying this for the longest. Now, other people on social media land are saying this. You know how you know? Because of last names. Last names are an indicator of who belongs to whom. You understand? Last names reveal if you come from a German heritage, if you come from an Italian heritage, if you come from a Greek, from a French, from a Spanish, from a Portuguese, from a Dutch. Last names mean something. A last name means you can trace people back to their lineage. Well, there's people here who have a particular type of last name. Those last names are filled in the United States governments and senates and Congress. And they have amassed extreme power and wealth through what? Government, law, and business, and just about any industry that has afforded them extreme power in the United States. And because of their connection to the land that they call their homeland, which is not their homeland, they were able to what? Write laws that now afford this country to support theirs, where they get free health care and free college education, which is insane. That is people who don't play by the rules, who cheat their way to the top. You can't live with a people who are covert and have to cheat their way to the top, and as soon as their secrets get exposed, well, now they want to cut the cord and cut the television off so that you can no longer see the feed of them being exposed. Kanye came out and said what he said, and they tried to bury him. Nick Cannon came out and said what he said about them, and they tried to bury him, and the list goes on. Now it's gotten to the point where now they could care less about them being exposed. I'm not saying that they're completely out with it yet, But they're not so concerned about the secret of who is pulling the strings, much like the wizard in the movie The Wizard of Oz. You pull back the curtain, and now you can see who's actually pulling the strings of America. All these corporations. What Kanye said was absolutely correct. You know how I know? Because I went to a college that has a plethora of them that attend the institution that I went to. Hell, you even had regular white students who would point out that they had a sort of favoritism. Now again, when I went to college, I didn't understand it immediately. I didn't get it at first. But upon listening to ISBK classes, what happened? I heard something that kind of shocked me, that jogged me. And then when it jogged me, what happened? It made me reflect on my academic experience. It made me question everything that I knew about these particular people and how it was a complete lie and it was false and that they actually stole our identity. So when it says, what? Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God. They have their own rabbis that they consider to be God on earth. The Catholic Church has a Catholic priest that they presume to be God or Jesus on earth. And the list goes on per any religion that you can think of. They all have their religious leaders that they believe are God in the flesh. That's exalting yourself above God. Oh my God, my nose is running. I gotta take some algae medicine. This is crazy. It is that time of year. I am feeling it today, boy. It said, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God. You know how I know they believe they're God? Because they don't even have enough fear of God to leave God's children alone. They don't fear God because they believe they are God. Hell, Trump, in his hypocrisy, said that it was God's plan to put him in office. And once he got into office, well, now he is God here in America. He follows no rules. America has 3 different divisions in which power has checks and balances in the United States. And Trump follows none of it. The 2 organizations, one being the Supreme Court, that is supposed to be a checks and balance from the against the president having full authority here in America, he is showing that he feels like he is God. Right? This place is sad and sick. This is why it says a falling away has to come first. Again, it says what? In verse 3. In 3 it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except for there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Then in 4 it says, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, and that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth on the temple of God. I told a cat who lives not too far from here, he seems like he's cool, but being cool means nothing. Why? Because God has rules. God doesn't want us integrating. God told us to stay away. Even though we have to live with the people who have oppressed us, we know we have to work. We have to deal with them because we are surrounded. But even with that said, we're supposed to stay separate from them. In our personal lives, we're supposed to be completely separate. In our public sector, we have no choice because they are everywhere. But in our private lives, no sir. You have to draw a line in the sand. And that's a line that you're not supposed to cross. It says what?